Hello everyone, it's Paul with Tutor U, and today we're going to be talking about volume. So we're going to go over a couple of volume problems that you can find on the GED, and the questions are going to be very similar. So I hope this helps you study. If it does, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more content. It will greatly benefit me, and I appreciate every last bit of you. So let's get started on a volume problem. We have our volume problem. And this is a very common or very similar, you'll find these kind of questions basically on the GED. Very similar to these questions. So, if this figure is the top view of a storage container that is 30 feet deep, what is the volume of the water tank? And you might recognize this figure from one of my prior videos where I went over either perimeter or area. If you haven't watched those, I highly recommend that you check them out. So, how do we figure out the volume of this shape? Well, as you can tell, I split it up into two parts. So we have the top part of this water tank that is 60 by 15, and then it's 30 feet tall. So just think of this as like there's like a wall here, okay? And this wall is 30 feet tall. Boop. Boop. Okay, so this is 30 feet up off of the ground, the height of it. But let's just get right into it. The first thing that you still want to do with this problem is find the area of this 60 times 15. So it is 60 times 15 times 15, and that equals 900. And then you want to multiply the 900 times 30. So 900 times 30, and that equals 27,000. Okay? Now we want to move on to our next part. So our next part, so part 2. I can draw this kind of maybe in 3 dimensions. We'll see how this turns out. Alright, not too bad. I still have it, kind of. It looks a little bit weird. It looks like it's hanging off. But we have 20 times 10, and so that is 20 times 10, and that equals 200. Not too difficult of a math problem there. So 20 times 10 is 200, and then you do 200 times 30, and that equals, so what is 200 times 30? That is 6,000. Bum, bum, bum. So we have 6,000. So those are our two parts, the volume of those two parts. So we must add them together now. So what is 27,000 plus 6,000? Well, it is 33,000. So the volume of this area is 33,000, but remember, volume, your unit of measurement is cubic units. So cubic units, or units cubed, whatever you prefer, kind of. Cubic units. So if this was in feet, it would be cubic feet. If this was in meters, it'd be cubic meters. The way of thinking of this, so like the other units that you might see, it'd be like an M for meters and a 3. And then it might be FT for feet and a little 3 there. And that is our first example problem of finding the volume of an irregular shape. Let's go on to another example problem. Sometimes on the GED, they'll give you the cubic feet. They'll give you the total volume of the shape, and they'll ask you another part of the shape, like the height, the length, or the width. So here is our next example problem. We have a rectangular prism, and it has a volume of 600 cubic feet. If the length is 20, which I have right there, and the width of it is 15, my hand disappeared. What is the height of the prism? So we want to figure out the height. Always just write things down. If you can draw it out, I highly recommend that you do, but the key to all of this is writing everything down. So let's go ahead and write down what our problem really is. So we have this rectangular prism. So how do you find the volume of a rectangular prism? Well, it's length times width times height. So length times width times height, and that equals volume. And what we are given as far as our units, what we have 20 for our length times 15 for our height times h, and that equals 600 cubic feet. So how do we figure this one out? Well, it's about it's like a 1.5 step algebra problem. So what is 200 times 15? Well, that is 300. So we have 300. And instead of writing this times here, I'm just going to write the h. So we have 300h, and that equals 600. Then we divide. So what's the opposite of multiplying? Well, the opposite of multiplying, that's what's occurring between the 300 and the h. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So we divide both sides by 300, because whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you do to the other. What is 300 divided by 300? Well, that's 1. So it cancels itself out. And 600 divided by 300, well, 300 goes into 600 2 times. So the height, h, equals 2. So the height of this rectangular prism is 2, and then don't forget your units, 2 feet. So we have 2 feet. So this is actually a pretty short, small prism. But the questions can get a little bit tricky if you don't write everything out. If you write it all out, you're going to be just fine. So take a screenshot of this, try to work it out with different units, just practice the problem. The more times that you do it, the better. Let's see if I can find another example for you guys. Our next volume problem, all they are doing is giving us the volume of a cube. They say a cube has the volume of 27 cubic feet. What is the length of its base? So how do we first start off this problem? Well, how do we find the volume of a cube? Right? So all sides are equal on a cube. So the way to think of it is, let's get everything all set up. So the way to think of the problem is similar to this. So a cube has all sides the same. You're finding the volume, so it's 3 dimensions. So it's side times side times side. That equals volume. And all we are given is 27. So side times side times side, and that equals 27 cubic feet. Don't forget your measurements. So 27 feet cubed. Okay. So what times what times what is 27? And that same thing, it has to be the same number. Another way of doing this problem is by using your calculator and calculating the cube root. So what we're really asking is the cube root of 27 equals s. So it has to be the same number, okay? So just think. So 2. So what's 2 times 2 times 2? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So it's not 2. What about 3? 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So the cube root of 27 is 3. And in other words, 3 feet is our answer. So the base here would be 3 feet. And since it's a cube, all sides are the same length. So 3 feet, and etc. You can go around and label it all yourself. If this video has helped you out, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Every last one of you. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I wish you really good luck. And I hope that whatever you're studying for, this helps you out. If it did, put a comment down below, and I'll see you later.